Vegas was led by he's averaging.
How we doing, everybody? Dominic Ricci, ready to rock and roll in this college basketball hangout. Filling in for my boy Tease. Listen to a little Santana. I better shut this off before we get in trouble. YouTube likes getting people in trouble lately. So, how's everybody doing? Thanks for coming in. Our boy Tease is feeling a little bit under the weather today. Got to get myself in focus. Running around trying to get prepared for the show. He didn't want you guys to have nothing today, so I'll try to fill into those shoes. I'm not that first half specialist like our boy Tease is, but I have some games for us, and hopefully we have a good time today. Let me just get all my bearings here. I got a friend of mine joining us in a few minutes. We have maybe two guests today, actually. Now I'm seeing it as texts are coming in. You know, we're like just like some big time live platform here now. People texting, people wanting to come in. This is just great. But yeah, I do have my friend Dave Rogers. Picks from Dave, great capper. I'm sure most of you know him. If you don't, I'm sure you would want to give him a follow after listening to him today. And we got our friend Jimmy Gomez, part of the Who-Bangin team, doing the. We have him now that he's doing the NBA Live. On Tuesday nights with another Jimmy, X Nizzle. So maybe Jimmy will be joining. I told him, come on. If you got a couple NBA plays, that's fine. You got a couple NHL plays, that is fine. Say that 10 times fast. So that's really where my, how I do things. I don't, we're going to talk about college basketball mostly. Hopefully we come to a couple good picks. But, hey, somebody has something else they feel strong about, let us know in the chat or, whatever. That's how we do. So let me, before I get started, a couple of things. Tomorrow night, it is Thursday. Okay, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, we'll be back again on Who-Bangin. Myself, DJ Big Boss. Big Ragoo 62, and we'll see who else pops up. We'll talk about the 2 playoff games. We've been hitting them the last couple Friday nights. Had a good weekend last weekend. I know our boy DJ Big Boss is a big 49ers fan, so there'll be a little controversy on that game, but stay tuned for that. Tease has been doing his 345 every day, college basketball hangout. That's been going strong. And like I said, man, he don't want a day missed, so one of us always have his back. We got the Tuesday night live, and we got a lot of things going on Who-Bangin. I'll be starting Major League Baseball soon. I can't wait. That's really what I love the most, so, that's how it goes. So, I see Big Ragoo in the chat, 62. How you doing, Doc? Glad you stopped in. Let me get my friend Dave in from Picks from Dave to join the live stream. Hey,
what's
buddy.
going on? How you doing?
Just in the nick of time, I was sending out a invite to Jimmy Gomez, and then I seen I wasn't on Twitter. I didn't see the DMs today, and then I seen yours. So that was great. Good timing.
Yeah, I know. T said he needed, you were going to fill in, and he asked me to come on, and I was available. So I'm always here if I can.
Good. Yeah. He likes throwing surprises my way, He likes doing that. Me, like I said to you, you're always welcome, and the more the merrier, without a doubt. So how's it been going overall, Dave? Haven't seen you in a couple of weeks.
Yep, it's been going well, actually. This past few days have been pretty well. College basketball's this January and February are my 2 favorite months. People always say, oh, I'm a March Madness guy. Well, everyone's a March Madness guy, so I don't know if I believe that or not. But this is when we get into conference play. This is when we have stats and trends to follow. And I really like this time of year. Hit Ooey Pooey yesterday for a multi-unit play, so that was good.
That's great. I've been having usually I'm rocking NHL this time of year. I usually start around the mid part of the season. They're out like now. It's really almost to the last third of the season for the NHL. They're at about 50 games, I guess now, out of 82 or whatever. But this year, I usually start fooling around with college basketball about now, like 3 or 4 weeks before the tournament. Because it's never been my real strong suit. But this year, I started hitting it a little bit. Between Tease and DJ doing it, and I started, hitting it. I started getting a little hot, so I just stayed with it. I kind of backed off the NHL. I learned my lesson years ago about spreading myself too thin. I'm a firm believer of that. You don't have to bet every sport, every game, and that kind of thing. So I've been rocking with the college basketball, doing pretty good. 3-3 yesterday. Day before 6-1. Day before that 2-3. You know how it goes. It's the roller coaster. But it's a lot of fun. And I've been enjoying myself. So yeah, a lot of good games, man. Nothing like at nighttime sitting back to those games. I mean, they're heart wrenching. Every damn game is heart wrenching. No matter the bad team, good team, too. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why. I mean, college basketball is so fun to watch. I mean, there is a level of anything can happen to some extent because it's not. I mean, college. I mean, professional sports are predictable, especially when you get like the playoffs and stuff. Usually, the good teams win. So they say in baseball, 7-game series, also in basketball. But you do see some crazy things. You see teams keep it close, tied in at halftime, and then they get blown out by 30 points, and you see 30-point comebacks, and it's real fun. College basketball is one of my favorite sports to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to that game, but it's a perfect thing you said that UCLA USC game last time they played. Mm-hmm. UCLA was up by like 18, 28. Something like that, right? At the half, and USC closed the game, and then in the Blues at the end, So that was a wild ride. I remember that. It just struck my mind. I remember today when I was going over the games, but then I when you mentioned it, I was like, yeah, man, it could. Listen, we even see that in the NFL, man. Me and DJ always talk about the second half craziness that goes on, Mm-hmm. Like, the opposite first half, second half. There's a lot of times they're both opposites. But you're right about the points. I mean, we talked about it last week, how when it gets to the playoffs, really in the NFL too, and they talked about it all, everyone was talking about it. The point spread doesn't mean as much anymore. Those, you don't have to really worry. I mean, some games, of course, it comes into play, but a lot of times, 5, 6, 7 points, it's really the best team is going to win and win convincingly most of the time,
Depends on your betting strategy, too. I know a lot of people that in certain sports, if in football, college football specifically, I'm thinking of one person, he says within 3 points, I'm just going to bet the money line. It doesn't matter either way. And for me, I don't like taking juice over minus 130. So I do sometimes want a point or two in my back pocket, or I don't mind laying a point or two, but there is something to be said about, hey, I'm just going to money line it no matter what.
Yeah, I feel that way. I was 130 was always my line, especially in baseball. Last year I raised it up to 140 because just the favorites were just overwhelming numbers. But I'm like you. I try to stay disciplined. And I think that's what's really helped me get better and better over the years. For me, the discipline was a big thing. And I don't do that either. Even today, now the college basketball, those -1, -2s, if I can get a minus 130, 135, even maybe a 140 instead of taking that, I like taking because, I get burned so many times by these half points and these 1 points in basketball. That's just basketball, but... we agree somewhat when it comes to that. So yeah, great, man. So I got maybe 4 or 5 games today. Are you on it? You're on some specific games?
Yeah, I've got 3 looks, and I'm like Tease. I don't look at the blue blood schools very often or the blue chip games. I don't think there's a lot of value in them. Just like the NFL is the hardest sport to win money at and cap. Because there's so much attention and the lines are so sharp. The lines are way sharper for the Kentuckys and Kansases and the UCLAs. So I have 3 plays, and they're all in smaller mid-majors, if you even want to call them that.
Right.
So I do. You want me to give them out, or
let me pull up? And I got a couple of both, and I think because I'm coming at it from a different angle. I mean, I'm kind of, like I said, I'm a little bit, last few years, I'm really new at betting college basketball. So I tend to, I come at it from more strictly of a handicapping than really knowing the game and knowing the schools as well as I should. And a lot of times I seem to be gravitating towards these big games that are on. But I have been seeing mixing into, because I see all you guys, that's what all you guys do. You go after those smaller schools. I know Tease does. Tease does first halves on all these schools that, most people couldn't tell you the name of what their name is. I hear what you're saying. But tell me a couple games that you're on. Let me see if we're on any of the same games, and then we'll go over.
Yep. I'm like you. I mean, I came into college basketball, and there's so many schools. It's really hard to watch all the games. So you do have to come in from a handicapping your style, whether it's trends or stats or whatever. And I index college basketball. Like I index a lot of sports, not all of them, not NBA, but college basketball I do. So I start there, and right off the bat, I'm looking at St. Francis, PA versus Fairleigh Dickinson, and I'm liking St. Francis. I have Fairleigh Dickinson as a 1.5 point favorite. So if I can get 4 points in my pocket, I'm already getting 2.5. But the thing here is at St. Francis, PA, they've covered their last, 4 games, and they're 6 of 8 they've covered. And Fairleigh Dickinson, they have been favorites at home the last 2 games and lost outright.
Yes.
So that momentum is very, very big. I'm not some people are like letdown spot type of people in college basketball. I'm more of a momentum. I look at it on the other page. So with St. Francis covering 5 of their last 6 in conference, they're just covering in spots that I like, and Fairleigh Dickinson isn't. And the fact that I'm getting 2.5 points of value means that I'm betting that. So that's my first play.
That was one of your plays. I was trying to find the money splits on that. See how the
we'll pull them
how
up.
that was.
You mean the money? Yeah, I'm not a big money watcher, but it's interesting.
Yeah. I like to. When I tell you the truth, I like to take a peek. First thing, like last night when the lines start coming out, but I don't like betting those lines right away sometimes because they move so. It's hard to predict which way these damn lines are going to move. I've been against the line a lot and won, and vice versa. So, especially in this sport for some reason. But did you got the game at 5 points?
I got it I have it written down or bet at 4. So if it went up, take it at 5. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, I know. It's according to the. What I have is the DraftKings they consensus of all their books. It comes up every 10 minutes. They change it. It's part of VEASAN. Okay. You know what VEASAN is, right?
Yep,
it's part of their thing. But they have the St. Francis, PA +5. But all the sharp money really is going that way because 38% of the tickets, but almost 70% of the cash. Mm-hmm. So you see the bigger bets are going in on that team. Where Fairleigh Dickinson got 62% of the tickets, but only 31% of the cash. So that's a pretty big difference, I think. I used to see Fairleigh. My daughter went to Ryder in the early 2000s, so I used to go to a lot of games. I used to see a lot of teams like that, and it used to be fun. Actually, she was in college with. I forget the kid's name. There was a kid. His last name was Thompson. He went to the NBA. I think he had a brother also. He came out of Ryder. And one of them,
Tristan Thompson.
I'm not sure. I don't think it was him, but there was a kid that played for Ryder which Ryder's not no big school or nothing. That actually ended up in the NBA.
Jason Thompson.
Yeah, I think that might have been it.
For the Kings,
that could have been it. But she graduated in 2008. So. Okay. Yeah, it was a while ago. Yeah, I'm getting up there. So, the first game I went with today was I went right down the list. I went with that was game 2, and they're all going to be on some major games here. KD723, how you doing, buddy? And as we see, Big Magoo is in the chat. I know Tease likes to do these shows late. I'm like an early morning guy. I'm ready to do this stuff like 9 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. But his routine is he has his bets put in, and he's in the casino late, and then he's going to bed late. Usually. But like I said, he's feeling under the weather a little bit. So, but yeah. The first game we had played today was Arizona, Washington State. I found that game interesting. I know I kind of feel like it's same. I kind of like last night's game. Yesterday I was on Xavier, and a couple people were questioning why I was on Xavier. I mean, it was 6.5 points, number one. But I found that game, that UConn, and a lot of times I'm seeing this happen. People, which happens in all the sports, the overreaction, right? UConn smothered Butler, which is not even in the same comparison, but they really trounced them their last game. And off that win, people, I guess and then they went home. I guess people thought they were just going to run all over Xavier. I took Xavier plus the 6.5 points. They won outright last night, Yep. And I was like, and I kind of feel like this game is the same thing. I like Washington State with the points. I mean, I could even come with a money line bet at plus 170. Is not like the craziest thing. Like Doc likes to say, sprinkle a little on the money line. This is a perfect game for that, I think. This game was, and the point spread again opened at Washington State plus 4. They're home, and it went up to 5-5. And I took the 5-5. I think it's an overreaction to Arizona's big win off of UCLA. That was my point. Arizona's coming off that big win. And, and Arizona's a great team. I mean, let's not, Ken Palm has them ranked at like 16. And I'm not the biggest rankings guy. And I'm definitely not the biggest Ken Palm guy. I know his name is mentioned out of everyone's mouth, even on TV now. It's just, they like to use that. But, like, the team rankings have him at 12. Arizona, Ken Palm at 16. But, Arizona, like I said, had that big win off of UCA. But Washington State, they've lost a couple of games, against some pretty good teams and on the road. The last 2 games they did lose on the road, but they've played well at home. And, that's a game where the line has gone against me, but I really like Washington State tonight. You have any feelings on that game at all, or
against Arizona?
Anything you looked at?
The thing, well, Arizona.
It was the points. Why is the why? I wouldn't take the game if it was. And I'll be honest with you. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah. I thought that this game should have been 7 or 8 points, and I was surprised that it was 4, and then went up to 5-5. Now I'm seeing it back down to 2-5. But go ahead.
Yeah, Arizona is scary to me. I'm just looking at this game right now. I have no opinion either way. If you've gun to my head, I'm going to take the dog probably. But Arizona, they get those Europeans that are tall and fast, and they don't take their foot off the pedal. I have a system where it's an underplay with a high total, and I stopped betting it against Arizona because they don't take their foot off your throat. They keep shooting threes. They keep playing fast. They're a scary team. So I have zero opinion in this game.
Right, I hear you. Well, that's one of the games that I'm on. +5, I am on that game. And the other game I was looking at, but I didn't take yet, I did. I put them in my parlay, is Arizona State. Arizona State was opened up -1, got bet up to -2.5. The money line was -140, and if I make 50 bets, I'll take 3 parlays out of the 50 bets, and it will never be more than 2 teams. I mean, unless I'm just too high and I just go crazy. I do a tease and do like 5, which for some reason it works out for him, parlays. But I did put him in half of my parlay, Arizona State -140. And that was against Washington. So it's like, the Arizona teams going into Washington playing, they both, they'll be playing 1 team each. Kind of reminds me of last week. And it's a cap that kind of worked for me with UCLA and USC going in. I bet against UCLA that second game when they played Arizona after they beat State. And, it worked. A lot of times when these teams got to play those double, in the same state, they got to play those double schools. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that second game, when they win the first one, it kind of backs off a little bit. And with Washington being, Arizona State, I just think maybe I like the way they play. I kind of like this team a lot, to be honest with you. And so I took a shot with them also, but I put them in the parlay -140. But I just didn't want to lay that on that. I just didn't want to lay the whole. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yep.
This game here, the thing is I'm looking at the trends, and you've got Arizona State 6 of the last 6 over, Washington, 5 of the last 5 over.
Yes, yes. A lot of over trends.
Over. Yeah, but here's the
Yeah.
problem. When you're looking at the totals, they were all under 140
Yep.
for both teams, and it's at 143. So then you look at how many points they're scoring, and they're scoring between 140 and 145 points. So maybe the over's a look, but looks like the right number to me.
Yeah, it looks like it was right on. That's what I thought. A lot of the trends, were 100% to the over, but you're 100. You picked that out, just right. With Washington State, by the way, with the money splits. First of all, they lost 2 road games. One against, and this is another reason why I liked them. They lost 2 road games. I was getting them both teams mixed up at my papers. They lost a game against Utah and against Colorado, which isn't, nothing to sneeze about on the road. I mean, those are decent teams at home. And they beat Stanford. They beat California, both at Washington State. Arizona is... Yeah, right. What I was saying is you can sprinkle a little money on the plus 170. You might find a flat spot here. Washington State could just take this game, outright. So that's just a game I was going back to that I kind of liked. But yeah, so those are 2 of the games that kind of reminded me of, like I was saying, with the travel spots, and playing, having to play those 2 games on the road like that. Sometimes it works. So we'll see what happens if it works. We'll see what happens tonight and see if the opposite teams win when it comes to the Arizona State. The other game I was on. Tell me another one of your games that you were on.
Yeah, perfect segue. Andrew Carr is asking about another small school. Here's another game: Stony Brook versus William and Mary, the Tribe. This falls into a couple things. First is the index has William and Mary as a 0.5 point favorite, so I'm getting 4 points of value. That's where I start thinking about maybe betting more than a unit. I never give out plays for more than a unit. It's your decision, guys, to bet however you want. But I like this play even a little bit more for 2 reasons. One is William and Mary does not play the favorite role very well at all. They never have. They've been a favorite twice this season. They're 1-1. But when you're the favorite, there are a couple things you need to do well. You need to rebound. You need to not turn the ball over. But the most important thing is probably free throw percentage, because if you're ahead, you're going to be getting fouled. And with that 1-1 in college basketball, it's so important. William and Mary are 331st at the charity stripe. That's almost – there's 360-something, 62, 63 teams. They're horrible. So I'm getting line value. I have a team that doesn't play well historically as the favorite, and a team that can't shoot free throws against a team that can. I think Stony Brook's like 34th or 31st. I have to look at my computer notes, but I like Stony Brook with the points.
That sounds like a typical play that you would take the first half in some fashion in that game. That's for sure. Let me see if I could.
He likes William and Mary.
He's so many damn games. I'm sorry. Say that again.
He likes to bet either one way or the other. William and Mary is always on his card. That game is somewhere on his card a lot of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes, I mean, Stony Brook 5-0 their last 5 road games, 5-1 against the spread last 6 games versus a team with a straight up losing record. I love these stats when they tell you how good these teams do on a particular day of the week. It just cracks me up, man. Okay, that's nice. Yeah. So if anyone cares, Stony Brook plays pretty good on a Thursday. What's up, Nasty 8? Mr. Trifecta. How you doing? Bill Richards, how you doing, Andrew? What's happening? You guys come in late. If you don't know, our boy Tish is feeling a little under the weather, so the boys came in from the bullpen. Bring it in. A lot of under trends toward on this team on Stony Brook too. A lot. Same way that the last game had all those over trends. This one has all those damn under trends, but nothing that really jumps out. Look what they're saying about. No, there is no head to head. So, and now what was your play on this?
Stony Brook full game plus 4.5.
Full game plus 4.5. Mm-hmm. And that's what time? 7 o'clock? 7:30, right? 7:30? Yep. Oh, I'm at a different time than but yes.
5:30 my time, yeah.
Yep. one of the smallest schools that I'm on is today is. You have any looks on that Seattle Sam Houston game? Did you
No,
look
I
at that game at all?
didn't. Did I index that? No, I didn't. I can pull it up though.
There was two smallest teams that I played, and one was, hey, Tease, he's there. What's up, Tease? You okay? Glad to see you typing. That means you're up and away. Get some rest, man. See, Dave, we don't even need Tease. We knew what he was going to play.
Yeah.
We predicted that, Tease. We should have put that bet in. We predicted that, buddy. That's great, man. I did play a first half in Tease's honor, and it's on this game, on the Sam Houston game. That was one of the smallest, I guess smallest schools that I played, and the other one was the Grand Canyon game. See, that was another game that I played. But go ahead, let's talk about the Seattle Sam Houston. I mean, Seattle's always been like the team in that conference. Going back, there always seems to be the representative to go to the to the March Madness, and this year, I mean, they're 16-4, they're 7-0 in their conference, they're on an 8-game winning streak, but Sam Houston, man, pulled off two big wins against Oklahoma and Utah. They played pretty well in the non-conference this year, and they won their last three in conference. So they got a 5-3 record. Sam Houston. I mean, like I said, Seattle's always been a pretty solid team, but I just think this year Sam Houston maybe could take them, and I do like them today in this game. Do you have any thoughts about this game?
Seattle's ripping them off. And Sam Houston, they're no slouch, like you said. What number did you get for the first half?
I got 3.5, I believe it was.
Plus 3.5?
I think it was when I took.
I'm looking at how Seattle does first half, and all their games, past 3 games, first half have been within 2 points.
Right.
Last 4 games.
Let's see this. Yeah, 3.5 minus 110. That's what I took. So I thought the line for the full game might have been a little bit high, but I just think they might catch this team a little bit in the first half, and that's the reason why I mean, it's a shot. I'm like, I basically bet 1 unit. If anything, I'll bet a half a unit more before I'll bet 2 units on a game.
Dom, I'll tell you what, that's a really good bet, because without indexing this, you look at the past 4 games, and they're within 2 points or tied even, and then Seattle turns it on and blows them out in the second half. So that's a good look.
Yeah, and Sam Houston was like 5.5 for the game, and I was like, wow, that sounds like way too high. Yeah. I don't want to be disrespecting Seattle like that. Tease, take the over. Second half over in Seattle, yeah. No, Tease, I didn't take the total. I just took Sam Houston with the 3.5 points. I didn't touch the total, but I hear what you're saying. I had some stats about that. Sam Houston. Oh, they're 3 point. They're third in the country in 3 points, fourth in the country in turnover defense. They both shoot the threes pretty well. You know what, Tease? What? I don't even see the full game over. Let me see what that total is. And you took them, Tease. Second, you took the first half at 64.5. Okay, I got you. Hit Sam Houston
136.5.
Yeah, 136.5. And I see that line bet up now to 6.5. This morning it was 5.5. I took it on Bet US or Bet Online, either one of those two. And now it's bet. I'm seeing 6.5. That's again. Almost makes me think that Seattle at 6.5, Seattle could be the play, full game actually, with numbers like that. But I don't like doing that, I only do that with the Mets. First 5 on, full game off, or with the totals. I used to go with Jimmy the Bag. I used to call it the flim flam bet.
There are people that do that in college basketball. It's just kind of I like weird. My bets to correlate.
Yes.
And so the only time I'll really, actually, my favorite flim flam flip flop George W. Bush play I guess we could say, is because I called him the flip flopper. Is I like to take a dog, and when the dog is up at halftime, you find a middle and you bet the favorite second half, and usually you can get. I mean, I nail those places, but it's hard to do it pre-flop because you're guessing.
Yeah, I think you have a little bit of a shot with totals doing that sometimes, but you have to get lucky to get that. Like if you're betting the, an over, and you get that slow start and that number drops that over. If you like an over, sometimes you don't even take it. I mean, in hockey, I do that a lot because I don't like betting these games. I'll cap the game as over 5.5, 6 goals, and you'll see a 6.5 number. For some reason, I never really graded it out, but I just can't pull the trigger on taking it over 6.5. It's just so many things got to go right to get to that number. But if you get that slow start in the first 6 minutes, you'll get a 6, you'll get a 5.5, and don't get scared away from that just because it started out, So that's just something I try to do too. But the live betting, man, that's a tricky, man. It always looks great. It's kind of like the teaser that teases you into thinking it's a good bet. Mm-hmm. The live bet, you really just got to be careful and really got to watch it because you can, and I've done it. I've made a lot of mistakes, especially when first live came out. I was like, oh, that's never going to happen. And, I've made a lot of mistakes. Live's something that could be very good in your arsenal, but you got to watch what you say. It's not as easy as it looks. That's my point. Do you play a lot of live? Do you feel that way, or you just think it's easy?
I do that with hockey. I wait for a 5.5. Right. I'm not fearful of 6.5 if I'm confident about it. But I was going to say, Tease is saying he typed in his plays in the StreamYard. Is there a banner maybe that he?
I don't know. He always all you got to do is text me the plays. I'm not the. I'll take a look though. If you did it in the, I'll take a look, Tease. I didn't know you were even alive to give out any plays. So if you would have told me, I would have been on it. But I'll see if I can find it. It is what it is. Put it out on your Twitter, That's why I tell you the truth. That's why I like having the plays out all day long, because sometimes it's better. Let me see if I can find it. I'm on the comments now, but there is a private. Let's see.
Private, and then also the banners. I'm not a good. I hate producing too. It's so. Yeah. I'm a handicapper. I'm not a.
Yep. This is when I think I might have just found it. If this is today's, no, this ain't today's though.
Banners. There's a tab on banners on the right.
Yeah, I'm on the banners, but these are yesterday's game, I believe. Oh no, is Green Bay Northern Kentucky? That's a game today.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes,
okay, then I'm on the right one. Western Kentucky, Longwood. Okay, all right, Tease, I found them. So we'll hit those games. We'll give them out for you. But yeah, I did find them. And now let me see if I can find them up on here. What other games you on, Dave?
I'm on one other game. I'm doing PSR's live stream with Cabin, so I'm going to find a way to get on Purdue and Michigan. I hate big games, but I'll find a bet just to have one.
What's he doing? A live stream?
Yeah, they do live streams on Thursdays and Fridays for the.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, and he wants guests. You're more than welcome to come on.
He knows. I used to talk to him all the time, but the last few weeks we've been missing each other. So he's been busy with his thing. But yeah, without a doubt, I'll give him a go. I'm on that game also. So did you? We'll just hit that game before we go over Tease's game. Since you brought it up, because it's a game that I'm on, and it's a game that I was I'm wishy-washy on. But let me hear. So you're under the spot now. You're going on the show. You got to make a bet. Purdue, Michigan. I'm seeing +5. I don't know if it's still at +5. But
yeah, it is at 5.
Okay, go ahead.
I haven't jumped, and I guess we'll start capping it now. But
we'll
based off
index,
off index, I have Purdue. Purdue should be a 6.1 point favorite in this, so I'm getting a point of value. So I kind of start looking at ways to take Purdue.
Okay.
But that's not the end all be all, because then what I like to do is go in and look at their stats and see how they shoot the ball.
All right, so now you on that point. So let me give you something on that point. Yep. The last few teams that they beat, they all beat them by like 3, 4 points, 2 points. It seems like Purdue has been getting, I don't want to say the word lucky, but they've been flirting with death, playing. They're better than these teams, but they haven't been blowing anybody out. They've all been under 5. Like, for instance, I believe Ohio State, Rutgers, Michigan State, Maryland. So that's something that stuck in my head, because what you were saying about the 6 points, it's something that was rolling around in my head, and I agree. But so go ahead. So that's one point that you were saying by looking at the stats and the index, the difference.
So one thing I do like about Purdue, and like I said with favorites, is they shoot free throws very, very well. Actually, they rebound everything. I look at turnovers. Michigan, on the other hand, they are below average in free throws, and very, very good. They don't turn the ball over, which is good. So I have a slight lean to Purdue based on that, and then I go into trends is what I do after that. So.
Gotcha. So what I did was I took Michigan +5.
Okay.
And like I said, Purdue, they're ranked a little bit high or low. I guess lower is the word than I think they are. I mean, they're definitely the top 10, 15 teams, but they seem to be getting a little bit more love than I think they deserve. This home court could have a little, there's a little something to say about this home court. Not every home court there's something to say about, but Michigan there's a little bit something to say about. I like these two teams playing each other. Purdue always goes to that. What's that big guy's name? Edie?
Yeah,
Purdue,
I see his face. I don't know.
Edie.
Yeah.
He's a guy at the end of the games. They keep on going to him, and he's not the most consistent guy. I mean, if he was, they would just keep on going to him, but. For some reason, what's happening, and I heard someone talking about this, and so then I went back and was looking at the end of those games, and they were right what they were saying, that it seems like Purdue was flirting with disaster and could have won these games by a bigger margin late than what they did, and a lot to do with them just keep on going to the same, to that one guy. So that's something that kept in my mind, and I just thought the 5 points was. If you're going to flip a coin, I just rather take the dog at home +5. I like going against these big teams that everybody loves, Yep.
So we got
so that's kind of what I was looking at. That's kind of where my head was going.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't like these trends either. Like I said, it's a lean. 1 point of value is not the end all be all.
No. I wish it was. We'd be rich.
Yeah, really. Michigan's 5-5 at home. They're 1-0 as the home dog, which isn't enough to have a sample size. But then you go Purdue, who Purdue is covering as an underdog, but as a favorite, they're 5-11. As a away favorite, they're 1-3. Yeah, I don't like anything about this game. I'm probably going to find a total.
And the total's 136. Now, I everything you're saying is why I went with Michigan +5.
Yeah.
My lean, and I didn't bet it yet, but I kind of like the under 136. And for a lot of the reasons that you were saying, I think it's too easy to just say, this game's going to go over. There's a lot of under trends, too. I mean, Purdue, Boilermakers last 4 games went under following a straight-up win. 6-1 last 7 following an ATS loss. Under 24-9. The under is 24-9 in Boilermakers last 33 games overall.
Yeah.
So, but we got to bet the over now. They're 25-12 on Thursday.
No, dude, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're past 11 games. Only 2 have gone over, and these are 133, 135.
Right.
Let's look at Michigan. Michigan.
I mean, they played some teams that trend to the under. Like I mentioned, Rutgers and stuff. But yeah. Head to head, the underdog is 7-2-1 against the spread last 10 meetings. The road team is 3-1-1 against the spread last 5 meetings. So there, put that in your pipe and smoke it. I did like Michigan. I took them +5. I was leaning under the 136. It probably didn't make Tease's card, but that's where I was at. That's funny that you mentioned that game. So that was the game that we're on, without a doubt. The only other game I did take was UCLA at USC. I did take that 4.5 points. I think UCLA is one of the best teams in the country. I think they're starting to gel. I mean, I could go over a whole bunch of reasons why I like UCLA, But there's no real home. There's no home court really there. The travel is really short. There's gonna be a lot of Bruins in the stands, and they're just a better team. But USC man has that last game that we discussed at the beginning of the show in their craw with UC, coming back on UCLA, and I'm sure it's on UCLA's mind too that they were up by 20 and let that slip away last time those two teams met. So I find this an interesting game. I'm glad it's a late game, and I took a shot with UCLA. That was my other game that I was on, and that was it. The back end of my parlay, I'm going to see if Tease is on this game. The back end of my parlay was, and I'll get to that cap, I'll find it in a minute, was the Grand Canyon ACU. Grand Canyon at ACU. I took Grand Canyon as part of my parlay. It was plus 200, the parlay, and that was Arizona State minus 140 and Grand Canyon minus 2, minus 130. So that's my parlay for the night. I did that for the show because it's parlay T, so I figured I'd come up with a parlay. But let's see if we can hit some of Teach's games. See if we can give them. Let's see what we got. Starting from the top.
If you click on the banner, I think it'll scroll at the bottom. Of
No, it will. I'm going to the top. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. The basic stuff I know, but it's But that's why we got DJ Big Boss to do all this stuff, man. I'm proud of Tease getting all this stuff together, man. Good job. So Wagner, first half, -5. Let's go to that. Let me go to that. Let's take a look at these games quick, and then we'll go over our plays again, and we'll get out of here. I was hoping Jimmy Gomez was going to try to come in. He was home from work this afternoon, but I think there's always the kids involved, right?
Yeah.
So how that goes.
I looked at.
Well,
this
maybe you don't.
too.
But what was that?
I looked at this game too. I have first half circled, which is crazy that great minds think alike. But I'm off the game because of my index is right on. But I did have this game as a question mark.
Now he has 2 asterisks next to that game. Which means he bets. I don't know what his amounts up, but he's betting more than 1 unit on this game. I'm assuming that's 2 units, the double asterisk. But he does have 2 asterisks, and when I see that, I know that's a game that he likes more. He does 2 and 3. I never seen him go over 3, but that's where that's like we talked about yesterday on the show. And Tease helped me out in one bet. I gave out Xavier yesterday. I gave out the Utah Valley game over. They both won. I also had Utah Valley team total over that worked out good too for me. But we were discussing the Texas Tech West Virginia game, and I came with the over 140 for the full game. And then after talking to Tease, he was on the under first half, and the way he was explaining me to the game, I was playing poker last night, but I had my iPad open when I knew it was in the second half because I was worried about my over. First of all, the first half went way under. He beat the line by 6 or 7 points, but I think it was a 68 total. It was like 61, 62. So I'm like, he was right. I probably shouldn't have bet this over, but I kept my eye. The second half they blew out. They come out. Both teams came out quick. About 5 minutes into it, there was a 142.5 popped up on the live. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take it now because I have a feeling that there's no way I'm not going to middle 140 to 142.5. But I think I'll save my bet. And, it really works out that you'll end up, screwing yourself like that because it's such a short, window. But at least I split and didn't win. And that's because the way his cap is. So, we cap a lot of different ways and we have different approaches the way we come at games. But, it's good sometimes that way because between the way he was thinking and what I was thinking, and then I said to myself, you know what? I got that wrong and he might be right. So, save me money, Listen, nothing wrong with losing. I'd rather lose a few dollars than lose the whole bet, right? So, just a point on how we, how everybody comes at this game, how everybody does it different, Even betting-wise, I'm a strict believer in keeping everything to 1 unit or 2 units if it's something you really like. But if I had to guess, I would say 90% of my bets are pretty much one unit. I just have raised the unit size over the course of time, and it just seems to work for me. What works for me might not work for you. Everybody has a different. Which is the beauty of handicapping, right?
Yep.
It really is. So let's see. Wagner first half -5. Let me see if I can get the money split on that for him. I mean, he puts these games in two. So I just got the full line. I got it at 9. And you mentioned this game before, didn't you? Oh no, you mentioned the other St. Francis.
Well, I did mention the other St. Francis. I like
Yes.
them, but I also
Yes.
looked at this game,
Right.
and I looked to take a first half, and I think it's the only way you can take it because even though I think Wagner won this conference last year, went to the conference championship.
I believe. I think you're right. I'm not 100% sure, but I think you're right.
But St.
But
Francis
9.5 is a big
horrible.
number. Full game 9.5 is a big number.
And they haven't been covering. They're not a great cover team this year. So the only way to take Wagner, I was just going to say, is first half. That's the only way I take them. Yeah.
As far as the money splits, they're pretty much, there's not much to read into them. I mean, if people like to read into these money splits, when there's like a 5-6% difference and stuff, there's not really much to lean into to look into. That's for sure. But so you guys are both on the same page as that. As far as the total, it seems like
That's right.
it's interesting. 124 is the total. 15% of the tickets took the under, but almost 35% of the money went to the under 124. That's pretty interesting. And it's 80-70 the other way. Yeah, that's interesting. But especially in that conference and those games, it's tough. You see those games too sometimes. They're like, final score is, 55, 51. I mean, you do see them fly under that 125-ish number a lot of times. But that's something I wrote down to the side about this Wagner game. That was like a Longwood, another T's favorite, Longwood. He seems to be on this team, not on them, but on their games a lot. +5 first half, Longwood.
Some jokes write themselves, right? He's on Longwood.
Right. Some jokes write themselves. The other game he is on is... This is an interesting game, too. I was looking at this game today. I couldn't get there, but Western Kentucky first half -5. I was kind of thinking that number is getting a little bit up there for the first halves. I don't like laying those big numbers, especially full game. I'm not laying those 9, 10, 11, 12. I just don't. I don't like to lay that kind of number. Even the big spreads, even as a dog, you see those 12, 13 points? I don't know. Sometimes it looks too easy to take the points. But Western Kentucky first half -5 is one of his.
It's minus half a point.
Oh, there it is. Good glasses. Yep. No, you're right. I was just gonna say, wait, that don't make sense because I just found the game up here. Okay, 0.5. That's a different story. It's hard to get to all these games that he and then to try to give a cap on him. If I should have seen him beforehand, I would have. Drexel first half 1.5.
Yep. I'm staying away from Drexel for the rest of the season. They burnt me too much.
Delaware -1.5.
I like that.
I mean -0.5.
Well, it's
That's it.
-5.
Is it? You read the numbers because I can't see them, man.
-5.
You know what? I could get this. I gotta raise the. Let's see here. Let's see. Longwood, Western Kentucky, Delaware, Green Bay Northern versus Northern Kentucky first half. That's an interesting. Over 58.5, and he likes this game a lot. There's 3 asterisks against this game. Let's see if we can pull this game up.
I like Green Bay. I like the dog getting the points full game in this. I almost bet this game.
So this is a game that you were looking on already.
Yep. And why I looked that up, by the way, Don, you would think that would be an under game with Omark and Vasilevsky if they're in goal, but I didn't bet it. Just with the Lightning under tonight, but anyway.
Okay, right. That's on the other screen.
Yeah.
That's what we need. I didn't cap any hockey today, so I didn't take a look at that. But Teach really likes this over though first half, 58-5. I'm guessing, and He also likes Northern Kentucky first half minus 8.5. It's a big first half number. So he really likes this game. You can pull up this game. So you said you were looking at this game, right?
Yep. I have a little.
You were looking the other way.
Yeah, I'm the other way. Just because
Go ahead.
University Kentucky, Northern Kentucky, they blew them out last game, and I'm looking at this back-to-back blowout spots where the home team's favored again by double-digit points. It's 7-4 this season. So I'm testing it out, but Green Bay
What
fits them
conference
all.
is that?
Oh, it's the same one that I'll look it up right now. I thought it was the same one Wagner and Bryant was in, but maybe I'm not. Right.
America East? No. They got these damn.
Horizon.
Oh, okay.
They're with Iapui and Purdue Fort
Yep.
Wayne, and
I got you.
Yep.
Because this thing for some reason changed on me. There it goes. For some reason, sometimes this app screws up. I had all the conferences open and then it switches. Now it's telling me to pick the conference. I'm like, really? Because I use that a lot because I'm not sure it's hard to figure out what teams are in all these damn conferences. That's for sure, right?
And they switch now. They switch. Like
Yes.
Tease was just saying. I said Wagner won their conference. They didn't. Bryant beat them. I remember I was on Wagner, but Bryant isn't in the same conference anymore. They're in like the America East now.
America East. That's what I just mentioned, America East, when you said,
Yeah.
yeah. Milwaukee, Conservative State. Yeah, Green Bay at Northern Kentucky. Let me just see a little. Wow, this line is really. I mean, you bet at 8.5 the first half, so it makes sense. But this line is at 17, man. Green Bay plus 17.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. They have like an estimated score of 53-70. Phew. That's pretty. Money splits. Interesting. The money's straight down the middle, man. As many people took Green Bay as they did NKU. Interesting, right?
They're in the Metro now. I thought they're in the America East. Anyway, they were in a different conference. It's hard to keep track, and tell you the
Without a
truth.
doubt. Matchup analysis. I just want to see. Oh yeah, I mean, I want to see the scores of some of these games and why. That's a pretty crappy team though, but they beat 57 under tied over. Yeah, I mean that Milwaukee 80-75. They beat Detroit Mercy at home 78-76. This is Northern Kentucky. They lost in Oakland 64-63. But they have put up some some numbers. Green Bay also, I mean it's they lost to Robert Morris 72-38. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, right? But then Youngstown State, which ain't a bad. I like Youngstown State, and they schooled them 86-70. Youngstown State schooled Green Bay 86-70. Northern Kentucky, they lost to 74-53. 99. They gave up 99 points to Wright State. Oh my goodness! So I could see where Tease's over bets went to. What does he have next here? Mount St. Mary's, another Tease favorite. First half. Was that +1? Another 3 asterisks. And he is on your Stony Brook play. First half +2.5. You're on the Stony Brook, right?
I'm on
Full game.
the full game. Yeah.
Right. Townsend. That's another good team. Townsend first half -5.5. Another 3 asterisks. I guess you're feeling better, Tease, huh? All these friggin'. Would you do these in your sleep? St. Thomas. Where's St. Thomas there? There it is, first half. All right, so let me go over Tease's picks. St. Thomas first half +5. Townsend first half -5.5. Now these are both his biggest games. The games he likes the most were those 2 games and Mount St. Mary's first half. Another 3 asterisks. So those 3 games he likes the most. Stony Brook first half +2.5. And Dave, you got Stony Brook. What line? Full game.
I got him at 4.5.
Okay, that's a great line.
Yeah.
Good line. Elon first half plus 5-5. Tricky team. This Elon team. They're a tricky team. They're a good team, but they're not really too consistent. But they're a team that you got to keep your eye on because they could as a dog they could a good team to back sometimes. Mount St. Mary's first half. Oh, another 3 Fs. And then we talked about Northern Kentucky, and he had the over Northern Kentucky over 58.5. I could see that. I like that. I like that a lot. That might be a tail for me. That over first half. Looking at, I could still got this game in front of me. I could see why he likes that. One day I got to talk to Teese and have him explain what gravitates him towards the first half. What's his theory on on taking first halves as opposed to full games. For me, the first halves just don't work out as well for me. I feel like I have to be too like spot on. I don't have like no room for. There's no leeway there, sometimes. But I love to, and that's the stuff I really love talking about. I love talking about the handicapping, and I love talking about how we make bets and stuff. I love the idea of which I'm working on now, and I'm going to try to do for baseball, maybe. And who knows? If you're around, you're always welcome. Cap some of the games early in the morning. Pick the games and just cap them on air and let people see how we arrive to some games. I plan on doing some baseball. Having at least 3 mornings a week having some kind of show with baseball. But something else I'm working on too, and I'll be reaching out to you and a couple people. I've been working on that. Something me and DJ been tossing around for the last couple of years. I'll tell you, a couple of years ago, we were ready to really make a big push with Who-Bangin. And, of course, worst timing in the world, COVID, started, like a month later. I mean, we've been doing this Who-Bangin thing for the last 5 years, but it's always been like a hobby type thing, a little side thing for us to do, something that wasn't so, corporate, or that's not even the right word, but something, different than what, like Jimmy and all those guys were doing. But then we just decided to let's just make our own way and see what happens. And then COVID came and everything got put on the back burner. So now we're at it again. But me and DJ were always toying around this idea of like betting workshops, handicapping, and I've always done videos like that talking about different disciplines, different strategies, a lot of rules that I'm 65. I've been gambling a long time. Made a lot of mistakes over the years, and and going back before we could get all this information on the computer. I mean, gambling was more of a coin flip than anything back then. I mean, you had the damn newspaper and the box scores. Yep. You had to call up on the phone. You couldn't even say money. You had $50 bet. You had to say
Vito calling you. Telling you he had 5 locks, give him $3,000. I remember all that.
Yeah, right. That's the whole other thing. But we couldn't even mention money. Like when we called the bookie, you couldn't even mention money back in the day. You had to say everything was based off of $5. So 10 times was $50, 20 times was $100. So you would have to say, give me 20 times on the Mets, or it's just like But my point being, we made a lot of trials and errors, and a lot of people over the last few years, especially, have learned from the things that, because I don't mind talking about my mistakes, but to put everything together into like some kind of workshop or some kind of lessons, different strategies, hit all the sports, go a general thing and then hit each sport. That's something we've been working on. So that's something we're getting pretty close to putting together. So I just find that stuff interesting. The old Bible thing, bring somebody a fish or teach them how to fish, that kind of thing. Because there's a lot of new bettors out there, Dave. A lot of young guys betting, a lot of, and listen, they can save themselves a lot of money by, listening to stuff that, not me, but, a lot of us have to say. So it's just something we're really gearing up towards. So keep that in the back of your mind. We'll talk about it more off the air one day. See if you. Don Play, Uncle Hank. What's happening, Don? One game only. You have $100. You need the one game. Gun and Dave, give me his favorite picks of the day is what he wants.
Got you.
Tease,
So
I'm
if
banking
I have
on
one
Green.
bet I'm going to play
Go
in
ahead.
college basketball, I'm going to take 4.5 with Stony Brook. That's going to be. I didn't know. So I have another play too. If you guys like totals, Omaha UMKC. I have the over in that one as well. But it's just that's because of recent trends. But one bet, it's Stony Brook. But it's tied with my NBA play. I like the Spurs catching a shit ton of points. If because it's real hard for a team to blow out teams back to back, and it's really hard to do it back to back to back, and the Clippers aren't that team. So a lot of points to cover. So I say those are tied. If you're an NBA guy, Spurs. If you're a college guy, Stony Brook.
A game that I only didn't talk about much was the Grand Canyon game, and I did take the -2 as part of my parlay. They're a good defensive team. They take care of the ball a lot. They're not sloppy. They beat ACU last year 95-68. I just think they're very good at rebounding, and I love teams like that. So, and ACU's D isn't really good. Isn't really great. I shouldn't say not good, but, I went with that team. But my favorite bet is Washington State plus 5.5. I love that game. And that's my favorite game, Don. That's the game that's my favorite game for sure. But I'll tell you the plays that I am on today. I know we were a little bit all over the place, like I said. Tease didn't feel well, so we tried to do the best we can. Really wasn't fully prepared like I usually am for a show. But be that as it may, I hope everybody got some good information out of here. And I did give you out Tease's plays, and we'll make sure they'll go out on Twitter. But I took Michigan plus 5. I took UCLA -4.5. I took Sam Houston first half -3.5. I took a parlay plus 200, Arizona State and Grand Canyon -2. And if I'm forgetting, Michigan plus 5 is another game I took. I'm leaning to take this Northern Kentucky over first half, 58-5. And I am leaning to take the under 136 in that Michigan-Purdue game. I have a funny feeling that Michigan might be able to hold them down a little bit. And neither team is great foul shooting and stuff, so I have a feeling that game we have a shot at hitting that under. But I didn't play that game. The games I told you that I played, those are the ones. Like I said yesterday, I went 2-1 on the show picks, 3-3 overall. All my picks I put out on Twitter at Dom541. And that's really it, man. Hopefully Tease feels better and he will be back in the saddle tomorrow. Because I know you guys really miss him. You were like, Dommy, enough of Dommy rambling and gambling. Let's. But Dave, you want to go over your picks one more time?
Yep, I got 3. I've got Stony Brook plus 4.5. St. Francis, PA, the Red Flashes. They're 4.5 too, or whatever they're at now. 5 actually. I had got them at 4.5.
Okay.
And then Nebraska, Omaha, and Kansas City, the Roos, UMKC. I like the over 133.5. I think I posted 132.5. I did, okay. But it went up a point.
Right.
And I just basically look at how they've been scoring and look at trends, trending to the over.
Right.
Well, one thing to say about that too is,
go ahead.
There are these historic stats, like historically this team does this or that or whatever.
Right.
And that matters a lot with bigger schools. But historically these teams go under, which is crazy because they're in the Summit League, which is an over. But who knows what players were there when all of these stats were there? I mean, one and dones and, that sort of thing. So.
Oh, shit. I didn't know he was in the freaking hospital. So you have your phone with your Tease? I'll give you a call. Can you talk on the phone? I didn't know that. I thought you just went to the emergency care. I didn't know they kept your ass. That's what they were talking about. His fever was running high, and I think he needed an IV and stuff. Tease, if you need me tomorrow, man, I'll rearrange stuff and I'll get back on here tomorrow. I know you don't like to disappoint your peoples, and I don't blame you, man. So You know, we're always here to help you out, without a doubt. Virgil 8, what's up, brother? Holla. How you doing, man? Gilberto Garcia, Green Bay won in first half over 58.5. Yeah, I like that look. I'm going to be tailing that game, that first half. I like that a lot myself. Did I cut you off, Dave? Did you have more games?
No. That's just it. I had 3 games.
Um,
I'm doing I'm not even talking about them. There are 6 other games, and I'm throwing in a very small round robin. I'm testing out a system, and the way I don't want to bet each individual game. And I don't want to parlay them all up. So I'll throw $1 or $2 each game, like 56 plays, like a 2 to 6, and just toy around with it. But anyway, Green Bay is one of those plays. But 3 plays, and then I'm going to probably be on the under Michigan, Purdue. Probably.
Gotcha. So yes, that's another one that was on my lean. So that was my 2, the under in that game and this Northern Kentucky. So without a doubt, you don't let I like to see that too. I'm surprised on how and they're very good captains. I don't like mention their names, but and it just I guess it works for them. But they'll let a line move like sway them off a game so quick. And I just can't do that, man. I just, I never have. I mean, like, of course, sometimes it's not going to work, but nothing's 100%. But you don't do that either, right? You don't let that go. You don't let that sway you.
No, not a point or two. No, but if this is so, like, so when I play the contest, like I did Circa, and the lines lock on Thursday.
Yes.
And sometimes you'll see a line just go ridiculous. I'll be making my decision to take a play on Saturday morning. If I see like someone get injured and go 4 points or 5 points in the NFL, that will sway what I do, but not in college basketball. 1 or 2 points doesn't.
Right. I got stubborn yesterday. Auburn opened up at 6.5, got back down to 4.5, and I didn't agree with the line. And I got stubborn. I stuck with Auburn. They got killed. They lost outright. So sometimes it doesn't work. But no, I hear what you're saying. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Are you doing your show tomorrow, Dave?
I have
a
show.
Doing anything on Friday?
Yeah, so I do mine at 8 p.m. It's a 30-minute show. Fridays are tough for everyone.
Yeah. We only started, we used to do Friday night every Friday night for a while. We used to call it the lounge. We used to get just hanging out and bullshit and no particular sport or something. But we just did the last couple of weeks. I was going to tell you to come on with us if you had time. But tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, we're just going to go over the 2 playoff games, the 2 NFL games. I got 2 plays in already. I got the Eagles under 46.5. I took, I don't know if this is good. I took a parlay. I think it was like maybe plus 210. It wasn't no great, great number. I took the Bengals money line, and I took the Eagles money line. So I thought last week, to be honest with you, I thought last week that Dallas should have won the game. I thought Dallas was the better team almost. I thought Dallas shot themselves in the foot, and they should have won that game. I thought they could have won that game. They weren't outplayed. They outplayed themselves. That's my point about that game. Nothing to take away from San Francisco, who hasn't lost since the last week in October. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, I don't know how you look at those games. I know a lot of people are on San Francisco, and there's a good reason why.
Yeah,
but they should be interesting games.
Yeah, not only am I a Niners fan, but this year I bet against them, man. I've been on the right side of the Niners every time I bet them this season. This is what scares me about this game, and I seem to think that 2 things. I think the 49ers kind of played with their foot. I think it was a mouse playing or a cat playing with a mouse. Now, granted, there were 2 touchdowns. The thing about that game is the play calling by Shanahan was so much different than he ever has. So it makes you think, and Ragu was on the stream with me and Jimmy was saying the same thing. I think we're going to see a different play calling. The problem is that the Eagles are the most complete team in the NFL. I mean, it's just –
they really are.
It's tough.
I worry about their offensive line. They don't, I worry about a little bit about their, and I worry a little bit that San Francisco could get that tight end, could get some points off that defense and, things like that. But I like the Eagles. I think the Eagles are, they played well last week, man. They took care of the Giants. I mean, the Giants, it was their time. I've been on the wrong side of the Giants a lot this year. I took Minnesota Vikings in the first game, and which was not popular where I live in
I know.
30 miles east of Giant Stadium.
Yeah.
Wasn't a popular pick. But I got all my money back with the Eagles. I bet the Eagles, and I bet a lot. But I'm not a big prop player. But this past week, I played a bunch of props, and they worked out. You know, I got Goddard. Just a whole bunch, and I just thought the Eagles played really well. And I thought that San Francisco could have got beat, man. If Dallas would have played their top game, if the choke artist Dak did throw 2 interceptions, could have been a different game, man. You know.
It's true. The whole thing with that is I agree, but I think if the game script was different, Shanahan has different plays.
Yeah,
I think
he's so good.
The thing is if Dallas was ahead, you wouldn't have seen that, and San Francisco's been able to come back. So
that's a very good point, Dave.
It was a very strange game, and the Cowboys were a good team this year. I'm not taking anything away from them, but I do want to address Tease in the comments. I will say this. We all know that in the NFC East, all of the fans can be crazy, but I think it's delusional. Everyone's saying, "Oh, the Eagles are going to blow them out." I think that's kind of nuts because
that's insanity.
I mean, the Niners. It could happen, but the Niners have one weak spot: the quarterback. And if you go on my Twitter page, I found a post. If you look at the last 7 games, Purdy's stats are almost identical to Jalen Hurts.
To Jalen, yeah. No, they are.
We'll see.
No, so we will see. It'll be a good game. The blowout thing is just fans talking. The one thing about that and we'll get out of here. The one thing about that Giant Eagle game over here, like every radio, every person, they were just dismissing the Eagles, and that's what I just couldn't understand. That how you dismissing the Eagles? I mean, I know you're a fan of the damn team, and if it was the Jets, I'd be like out of my mind especially because we don't even smell the playoffs as Jet fans. But, you know, how do you dismiss the Eagles in that game? Like, come on, man. Yeah, they could have lost. Yeah, the Giants were on a roll, and, but listen, anyhow, that's NFL for you. But like I was going to say, if you want to jump on with us tomorrow night, you are welcome. But I know you got to do your own thing. But tonight, you will be on Pub Sports Radio with Dabby Cab.
Yep.
Doing the live stream.
It's Michigan. 8
p.m. I think the game starts.
Yeah.
So
we'll
I'll definitely
be
stop in the chat and
and
say hello. And since I'm on the game, what the hell? And now I am gonna put. I think I am gonna put that under 136 game, just so with something else to. Now I know what I'm gonna do tonight. I'm gonna sweat that game with you guys. So there you go. Anyhow, Dave.
I'm not the host, but you're more than. I'm not the host, but I'm sure you're more than welcome to come on. I know you're not a late night guy, but if you want to.
Yeah. I'm not too much. Well, I'm in New York, but I'm not. But that's a good idea. I'll see what happens. We'll see if I get on there. That'll be some fun. But I appreciate you, Dave. I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I seen your DM at the last minute, like 10 minutes before I was going to start. So that was great. I wouldn't have been on this. I would have been on a half hour ago. I would have been home if it wasn't for you. T says, take the Eagles. Don't worry about it. Just take the money and put it down on the Eagles. But Dave, love you, brother. Thank you for coming on, man. And we'll be doing plenty more stuff together in the future. That's for sure.
Awesome.
So thank you, man. All right, man. I will see you again. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Our boy Parlay Tees is laid up a little bit, but being a close friend to his, I'll tell you straight up, it's a good thing. They got him tied down in the hospital. They don't let his ass up. Let him get some rest. Let him take care of himself a little bit. Don't worry about this stuff. Chat, we'll take care of the chat. We'll take care of the game to the show tomorrow if needed. You just worry about yourself, brother. You know how I feel about you. So, but everybody that came in today, Don Player, always respect, man. You are supporting Who-Bangin all the time, man, and we really appreciate that, man. We're just trying to do our thing and start growing, so we appreciate it. Virgil, again, always around. KD723, our boy, my brother, Big Ragu 62, Gilberto Garcia. Let's see who else is here. Thanks, of course. Oh, guys, on Twitter, it's Picks from Dave. That's Dave Rogers. He does a lot of stuff, man. He comes at this stuff from a. He's a smart guy, man, intelligent guy. He comes at it, comes to it from a little bit of a different angle than me, and that's why I love capping with other, different. I'm always willing to learn, man. I know a lot of my ways are a little bit more old school, and I try to, incorporate, everybody's stuff in there. So, stay tuned to Who-Bangin. I'm on Twitter at Dom541. Parlay Tees on Twitter. You guys know where to find us. Keep the likes and the and all that nonsense. Keep us going, man. Keep retweeting our stuff and help us get Who-Bangin to grow, because we got some good things coming up. All right, Tommy Gunn, stop rambling and gambling and get your butt out of here. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. We will see you tomorrow at 3:45. Have a good night.